All right. Good evening. This is Eric Brown on Detroit in Black and White presents Reality Strikes with Eric Brown. And joining me this evening on the first half of the show is Jalen Bradley, Jalen T. Bradley, also a brother of mine and 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit. And I had Mr. Bradley on this evening to discuss the upcoming Peacenik, which will be taking place on Saturday, August 30th on the east side of Detroit. I had the opportunity to attend the event last year, and it was just a great event to speak kindly about it. I mean, it was just amazing. So many people from the law enforcement community was there. A lot of vendors with regards to nonprofits were there to tell people about what they're doing in the city. So with that being said, Jalen, introduce yourself and tell the viewers exactly what Peacenik is.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you to Brother Eric Brown, as well as all that are in the Detroit in Black and White podcast. It is amazing to be here this evening as we are talking about Peacenik 2025, which is our third year of actually doing this event through the wonderful foundation set by the former U.S. District Attorney of Eastern Michigan, Dawn Eisen. And this is in partnership with the city of Detroit, as well as the Detroit Police Department, with a whole bunch of stakeholders really involved to kind of come together as a community and really understand and wrap around our community with the support and resources that we need to combat the violence that's happening right here in the city of Detroit. So I have the pleasure to not only be leading that initiative with the amazing team over at the DPD, Captain Tanya Leonard, as well as an event management company, Nina Payne, as well as our executives, our Deputy Mayor, Malia Howard, our Chief of Police, Todd Bettison. I mean, there's so many folks that are involved in this initiative, and we try to do it every single year to really showcase to the community that law enforcement and residents can come together. We can spread peace in the communities, and we can really just make sure that everyone gets the services that they need, that they may not just be able to actually access. So we are meeting residents where they are, and I have the privilege to make sure that Peacenik 2025 is a success.
And last year there were two, one on the east side, one on the west side. This year there's only one, based on my understanding of the event, and that would be on the east side. Any particular reason why it was reduced to just one in the city this year? Because crime is on both sides of the city right now.
That's right. You are correct. I will say that, as we know in the city of Detroit, there's a lot going on. We have elections going on. We have the situations that are taking place right in our various neighborhoods. We have other festivals and initiatives that's taking place. Timing is really what has been not on our side this year. And so we are trying to make sure that we can do this event right there during the Labor Day weekend, as we even know that a lot of Detroit Public School Community District students will be returning to school that Monday. So we are going to make sure that everyone have a safe and successful first week of school, and we'll meet them there that weekend at Peacenik. And it is going to only be one location as of to date, because we do want to make sure that we are making ourselves accessible. And it's also at a location we not have been before. If you're not familiar with Skinner Park, this was a wonderful initiative that a lot of residents in the Denby neighborhood really advocated for. I talk all the great time with Sandra Turner Handy, who's over in the Denby Neighborhood Alliance group, that has always shared that young people and residents in that community is who advocated for this park to be right there in the center of their neighborhoods, as well as wonderful partners like Life Remodeled and other organizations really pull together their resources to make this park a safe space for our residents and our citizens. Now, we do know the situation that did take place at Skinner, but I will say that we are going to be there to make sure that the community is wrapped around, as we understand community trauma is real. We know that we lost two young people right at that park. So this year, Peacenik is going to be really about being there to spread peace and making sure that this is still a safe space for all.
And one thing I was blown away by the event from last year, Jalen, the facility or the park where it was held at on East Side, I mean, that was just a massive park. I had never been to that park last year. I mean, it was just massive. I mean, anything and everything you wanted to do at that park, even outside of the Peacenik event, is there for the people. It's just there for the community. It's there for the citizens. What is the difference with regards to size from last year's park, and I forget the name of it, so please excuse me, versus this year at Skinner Park?
I think the impact is going to be there, Eric. We were at Howman Rec Center in the past years, and on the west side, we were at O'Hare Park. But I'm telling you, Skinner just brings a whole new culture to Peacenik, especially at this time of year. And I would say that we will continue to have that 2,000 plus person event that we have every single year, because we're going to have resources there to get health screenings, to expunge records. Our Project Clean Slate partners will be there. We'll have the mobile secretary unit there to make sure that you want your driver license renewed or any other secretarial business to take care of. We even going to have health facilities there to make sure vaccinations are there for school-age children. I mean, we literally are going to keep the same impact, Eric, just moving it from one location to another.
And with it being in Skinner Park, and I want to welcome Karen Winston as well as Mr. 1213. And I'm on YouTube, so there are a lot more people watching. I don't see the names of those that are on Facebook Live, so excuse me for not mentioning you all that are watching, myself and Jalen this evening. But the event over at Skinner Park, that happened about a month and a half ago, where a 18-year-old was killed. And was it a 4-year-old or 6-year-old?
4-year-old, Samir.
Okay, they were killed. So there's a great significance of choosing to having it. And there's some symbolism of having it over at the Skinner Park, because we will be paying tribute to those two young people that died far too soon. And we just can't keep having these types of situations. And hopefully the community will come out. They came out last year. Again, it was a hot day, but that didn't stop people from being out there. Then you have the vendors, the nonprofit vendors. And I think it's very important for us to mention the nonprofit vendors, because in talking to you last year, as well as Deputy Chief Bettison, one of the criteria for having the event, if you're going to be a vendor, we're fine with that, or you all were fine. I'm saying we. You all were fine with that, but they just cannot be selling any goods. Is that still the same rule this year?
Absolutely, Eric. So remember the whole purpose of Peacenik, right? We want to provide resources that residents can take full advantage of, free at charge. Peacenik is 100% free. You show up, we provide you with the food, we provide you with the resources, we provide you with the entertainment. We just want you to show up. And as Detroiters, I know that we are all looking to celebrate as well as lift awareness around stopping the violence in our community and spreading peace. And this is the whole purpose of this event. And as far as our vendors, I mean, we have over 50 vendors that will be coming to this year's Peacenik, from DTE to Detroit Public School Community District to Brilliant Detroit, City Year. Like, you will be able to walk away and apply for jobs based on the vendors we have. You'll be able to make sure you have those health screenings, as I mentioned before. You'll be able to even know how to get involved. We have a lot of different resources that the Detroit Police Department will be providing as far as recruitment goes, even our City of Detroit agencies. So we are pretty much bringing KMAC all the way down to Skinner Park, just so our residents can take advantage of city support services.
And the one thing that you mentioned, I want to say hello to Vanessa Moss, who is a co-host on the Detroit in Black and White regular podcast, as well as, I'm not sure if you can see the comment, Jalen, no, but Lynn has a comment saying, Peacenik is a wonderful event, and I look forward to attending. You mentioned the food. I mean, last year, they fed people like it was no tomorrow, and there was even food left over. And they had to be, I estimate, there were over a couple thousand people there last year. And that just goes to show the vendors that came out, as well as those that were giving up their time, free food and all that still have food left over. That lets me know that you all had to have been expecting, if the whole city had showed up, there would have been enough food for everyone. So that's one of the good things about it. And it was just fun people getting along, water fights, basketball games. And that's what community is all about. We oftentimes talk about the village. This is an example of what the village should look like under normal circumstances.
And I'm going to say this, Eric, this is also what One Detroit looks like, right? Like we've been preaching and saying that we are One Detroit. This is what Peacenik is all about. And this is how it was actually founded. It was all of the different law enforcement agencies coming together to prevent crime and spread awareness to the community about stopping the violence. As well as what you mentioned about the food. I want to give a special shout out to Happy's and Savvy Sliders, who comes through for us every single year to provide free sliders, fries, chicken tenders, pizzas. I mean, we have so many support from not only Happy's and Savvy Sliders, but Diversified Members Credit Union, the Detroit Pistons. We got D-Win, we got Team Wellness. Like, everyone is coming together to spread that sense of awareness and love and peace around this issue of coming together and stopping this violence. So it would not have been possible to feed all those many people that you mentioned, because remember, it's been over 2,000 plus folks that comes out to this event. It gets so packed that we have to block off the streets. So just a heads up, Kelly and Moraine will have a little bit of delay because it's that much of a wonderful community initiative that a lot of residents comes out to. And it's for all ages, because I didn't mention that we got inflatables. I didn't mention that we do have basketball. We do have sports that are played or between the law enforcement and residents and community members. We even have the resources there for you to, I'm telling you, do stuff that you don't have to drive in your car or come down to KMAC to actually get the services for. This is a one-stop shop for all Detroit residents to take advantage of.
And I had to give a shout out to my regular viewers, Edward A. On Purpose. I mentioned Vanessa Moss already because I watch their show on a regular basis. Mr. 1213, Karen Winston for sure. And again, I mean, you can't see the comments, Jalen, but On Purpose, he states that although he's against real ID, great idea, but such events end up being window dressing. Do you care to address that comment from On Purpose? Because he does have another comment I'm going to get to as soon as you address this comment about it being window dressing.
I think it would need to provide a little bit more clarity on that, because when I would say that everyone leaves Peacenik feeling a sense of we are truly one community. And I always share how it kind of gives you that sense of a safe tailgate. Everywhere you look is going to be law enforcement interacting with community members. Everywhere you look, you're going to see the smiles on the children's faces. You're going to see ice cream and everything in their hands as they're running around and really engaging with everyone. And so I can't even address that because I've seen it otherwise, especially with all the wonderful volunteers and nonprofit leaders that comes together. Because I'm telling you, this is no joke. This is a huge production that takes months of planning to make sure everyone is safe, everyone's getting the resources that they need, and everyone is just having a great time.
Right, because under that tent last year, you had every organization from A to Z, nonprofit as well as other organizations that are just about doing the work of the business in the community and bringing people together. And On Purpose went on to also say real peace strategies involve working with our most vulnerable on a daily basis via cultural, educational, and field trips. You care to address that comment from On Purpose?
That's a great point. That is a really great point. And I'm sure that there's just so many amazing nonprofits in the Detroit metro area that does provide those opportunities. I can't mention one without mentioning them all, but I know that there's some amazing work being done in the philanthropic industry as well as the nonprofit industry that are doing those field trips, those out-of-class learning experiences, and providing all the things that Peacenik may not provide. Because we do understand this is a one-day event for 5 hours. What individuals can look forward to after Peacenik is still that intentionality with relationship building. And it's also going to have to take active engagement as well, making sure that you are taking advantage of being civically engaged, but also still making sure that you're building relationships with your neighbors as well as your different community block clubs and groups. And I especially want to say that This is an area, Skinner Park, where we have some amazing community violence intervention groups that are on the ground, that are doing the de-escalating, the mediating, the relationship building, the mentorship, the wraparound resources. I mean, I have to give a special shout out to the Detroit Friends and Family, led by Ray Winus over on the Detroit East Side, as well as Team Pursuit, led by Quincy Smith over at the Detroit East Side as well. And we have other great grassroots organizations and community initiatives that are really promising, that is reducing the violence, but it's also making sure that we are making the community know who we are and that we are here for them by any means necessary.
And I'm not sure if you know Lynn, but she definitely got your back. She says great ideas about other strategies and field trips, speaking to on purpose. And she also says those are actually taking place already and regularly, which is true because, I'm a part of a nonprofit organization that deals specifically with the youth. And we just got through taking them up to the Michigan State Police headquarters in Lansing last Thursday. So things are being done in the community. And at the end of the day, we have to be honest with ourselves. And myself being so involved in the community, my passion for literacy, my passion for working with young people. I'm a track coach as well. At the end of the day, in 100 Black Men, we do a lot of Project Success. We all know we have to be real. As much as we want to save everyone, we can't. And that's just keeping it real. And at the end of the day, if you can save just one, that's a start. Detroit has over 600,000 people, but if you can save just one, it's a start. Because if you save that one and have a very impressionable impression on that person, be it male or female, they're going to tell someone else, which opens up the door to save others. So we have to be very cognizant and conscientious on how we attack in or criticize a situation. But at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, it's easier to criticize, a lot easier to get involved.
Yeah, it does. I always think about that sense of we got to do something. It's one thing to, like you mentioned, say the things that we may not see or that we may not know about, but it takes the active participation, as well as it goes back to, the African proverb of it truly takes a village. One individual, even one group of individuals cannot fully serve an entire community that is in dire need of resources and support. So it's literally one of those initiatives where everyone has to roll up their sleeves and figure out how can they contribute to this overarching problem, or even just being a good neighbor. I think we kind of have gotten away a little bit of that being a good neighbor spirit. We have to sometimes lead by example, and we have to understand to de-escalate our own emotions and our own different feelings, and really just be there to lift up the next generation of folks.
Right. I know as a group of guys, all fraternity members, and how involved I am in the community. So I do appreciate them involving me in a future initiative that we want to address with regards to high crime. Well, I ain't gonna say high crime. With regards to some of the unnecessary crime that's taking place. So I'm looking forward to that initiative. We were going to try and do something in alignment with the opening of the Dome over on Chandler Park. And it just does not align, but we will be doing something. It's myself, a couple of members of Omega Psi Phi, member of Alpha Phi Alpha, the immediate past president of Alpha Phi Alpha, Harry Todd, and this is being spearheaded by two men of Omega Psi Phi, KW Knox, as well as Lynn Sanders, and we are all, myself, KW Knox, Kermel, and Lynn are all alumnus of Eastern Michigan University. And, we just care about the community. People, one of the things that bothers me, and we've had this conversation before, Jalen, one of the things that bothers me more than anything else when people say, or say to those that don't live in Detroit to stay out of our business. And I tell people all the time, a lot of us that don't live in Detroit, we were born and raised there. I was born and raised there. Kermel KW Knox was born and raised there. Lynn Sanders still lives there. Harry Todd, born and raised there, but he lives outside the city. But we are all doing very positive things to come to Detroit and play our role, do our part. When I was the president of the Kappa chapter in Detroit. I mean, there were times in one day I would come back and forth from Canton to Detroit 5 times, due to commitments I had that I had committed to. So I think we have to be very careful about saying if you don't live here, then don't be a part of the solution. Well, I don't care if somebody lived on Timbuktu. They're willing to come to Detroit to be a part of the solution. They're going to get my applause and a pat on the back.
Absolutely. And, Eric, that comes from just having so much pride into your city. When I hear folks kind of say that, I'm saying that these are individuals that have pride in their city, that feels like they know their city and they know their needs and they know exactly what their neighborhood may need. But I always have to let individuals know that, again, it takes a village. And if someone is willing to help and provide their gift to the community on the better of it all, why would we turn that help away? We have to really extend ourselves and extend our arms of receiving as well as giving when it comes down to a lot of different causes. And I think that you may have those individuals that do not live in the city, which is, their choice. But as long as we are still working towards the collective mission and goals, that is what's mattered. And so I will always kind of mention too of, we have this little East Side versus West Side thing. I am an East Side Detroiter, proud of it. But I will say too that that's all fun and games because we may have a connection or a relationship over on the West Side. And we have no problem working with individuals on either side or either part of the city of Detroit to make sure that we get the job done and we stand on our mission.
And we're both Eastsiders. We both Eastsiders and went to school on the West Side. So that just speaks to there's no boundaries when it comes to supporting Detroit and just being a part of the greatness that is Detroit. And On Purpose has another point, and I want to get to Miss Sheila comment in a minute, as well as Mr. 1213. He says, and you can answer, you may or may not be able to answer this. You are a city employee very involved in the deputy mayor's office. Has there been any consideration that some of these crimes are committed by individuals outside our community, aka non-Black? And I think I can answer that too. I don't think there's any indication that non-citizens or non-residents that do not look like us are committing these crimes. But I mean, if you want to chime in on that, but I don't think that's the case.
I will say that our partners at the Detroit Police Department, they do a phenomenal job with investigating and getting those facts of individual cases. We have one of the best data intel centers in this country. And so that is where that information will come from. So I cannot speak on that this time.
And then Miss Sheila has a comment. We must teach our children not to cause hurt to others, and y'all do the same life, and y'all do the same, and life will be better. That's very true.
I agree, Miss Sheila. Let's get to work and let's do something about this.
And then we have Mr. 1213, a regular viewer. Detroit still has this Detroit versus everybody mentality. Even one of the mayoral candidates hint of having that same mentality. It's a pride thing, but at some point you got to diversify your statements and just make it all about everybody doing their part to do what's best to promote that village. Yeah. Then Mr. Ronald Hinkle, thanks for joining this evening. And he says, good evening. Have a wonderful evening all. And then Miss Sheila has another comment. Oh, didn't hit the right button. Oh, repeated her comment twice, so she must have hit.
Yeah, that's a double emphasis, Ms. Sheila. I agree with you.
Right, and I'm going to welcome I'm going to welcome Kenneth Powell. He's a regular. He joins us on all platforms for Detroit in Black and White. So what is your greatest expectation for, and then get an address? I know we said the name of the park, but I'm not sure if there's a address associated with that or cross streets, so people can know exactly where they're coming on August 30th. But what is your greatest hope for that day and the day, time going forward after that day ends?
I am hoping that our message resonate with the community. Yes, take advantage of the free food, the free resources, but again, understand the whole purpose and intentions behind it. It's for all of us to do our part in spreading peace. And that means that if you see something, say something. And it also means of making sure that everyone is being vigilant of all their surroundings, protecting their children, making sure that their children is made aware where they are going and when they get there and how they get there. I think it takes everyone kind of being on that sense of just making sure everyone's looking out for everybody. I think that is in our Detroit history, it's in our DNA, and we just got to be more intentional and actually proactive with that. And I'm hoping that after Peace Nick, this will also give the sense of, hey, if you do want to not follow us on this mission, then there will be consequences and enforcement that will be attached to that.
And I want to
our CPI groups are out there, and we have an amazing DPD that will find whoever is trying to go against that mission.
And I brought up this comment by Miss Sheila for a reason. Mr. Eric, we appreciate everything you do. Bless up. And I brought that up for a reason, just to let people know it's not a one-man show. And it's just a coincidence that I had Jalen on this evening as the guest, but he was very instrumental in co-chairing the recent candidate forum that we did a couple of weeks ago on the 19th of July. And that has led to a major organization wanting to partner with us to do a general election candidate forum. I'll give you more information about that tomorrow, Jalen. And it just goes to show that when, people work together for a common goal, it just results in others wanting to partner with you. And that's just another way of getting our name out. We got our name out, 100 Black Men with New Leaders Detroit, Umoja Debate Team. And now we have another organization that wants to partner up with us to do a general election candidate forum or whatever we decide to do in that space, candidate forum or debate. But it just speaks to the great work that we're doing as a team, because no one person is responsible for the success of any event that takes place. So I wanted to show that comment to let people know that the candidates forum, which this was our third one, all three of them have been successful based on who I had as my co-chair, and that's Jalen Bradley. He was the co-chair of all three events, and we do a phenomenal job working together. And, I would support him in all his endeavors, and he knows that. And he has a bright future for himself in the city of Detroit. And, I'm sure this is not the last that you all will be hearing from Jalen. I mean, I have him on my show again in the future after an announcement is made by him. But this is a guy that you need to get to know, hear that name, and support him because he's about the community. I mean, he went to Renaissance, wherever that school is at, but it's all good.
Didn't we just say that we sometimes cross boundaries? East Siders go to the West Side. I mean, Rennie is the school I did attend, and I have no regrets. But of course, I also love my wonderful cast technician counterparts as well. But we're not going to go in that debate. We don't want to lose viewers right now.
Yeah, people will be, either tuning out or coming up with, the caterings and, everything else. Chassis, a lot of schools no longer open. But one thing I want to say before we go, a lot of the all-class reunions have been very successful this summer. And that's a good thing. I know when Mumford had theirs, it was off the chain. Cooley and theirs is, you continue on with the debates about the best being the best. Southeastern, Kettering just had theirs, and people just love their schools.
Yeah, I saw the videos. I saw the photos from Osborne,
Osborne, right?
Alumni, y'all came out, y'all showed up and showed out. So I ain't mad at it. We all represented Detroit Public School Community District. And that just, again, goes to show the grit and the love and passion that we have for the city of Detroit. And Eric, I know you're closing up, but I do want to, again, remind folks, Peace Nick is on Saturday, August the 30th, from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Skinner Park, which is located at 12800 Kelly Road, Detroit, Michigan, and is adjacent to Denby High School. So a lot of my East Siders, y'all know the intersection, Kelly and Moraine. But there's also going to be off of Dutchess as well, which is right one road out of south of Kelly. So just kind of make sure that you pack some time to come down there. We will have some street closures that we will, of course, let the public know ahead of time. As well, we will be out there walking and canvassing the neighborhood because we feel, again, we come into this community that has experienced so much in these last past weeks in July. And we just want to make sure that you know that we're having this event right in your neighborhood so you can come and take full advantage of the resources. So
I'll have you on again, Jalen, based on your schedule, closer to August 30th, so that we can, even if it's only a 10 to 15 minute interview, just so we can remind the people about Peace Nick. But again, it's on August 30th. That's a Saturday, the Saturday before Labor Day. Football Saturday for a lot of schools, U of M home opener, things of that nature. So come on now to Peace Nick, and I'll be there late because I'll be at the U of M football game first, but I will be there to enjoy it because I enjoyed it last year. So I'm going to thank you, Jalen. You can stay on because the next guest, they'll be talking about their Peace Run Walk this coming weekend over at Tyndall Rec Center, and they'll be giving away backpacks and things of that nature. So if you want to stay on for some of the conversation, that'd be fine. But let me bring to the stage now Daryl D.C. Campbell, who is a employee over at the Michigan Black Caucus Foundation, and waiting for him to come on any minute now. Oh, wrong one. Oh, there we go. How you doing, Brother Campbell?
Hey, doing fine, Brother Brown. Yes, so I'm Daryl Campbell. I am a life coach with Black Caucus Foundation of Michigan under our CVI program, which is Community Violence Intervention Program. And I had opportunity to listen to the tail end of the prior show here. And one of the things that stood out was the fact that Jalen mentioned, or you mentioned, that there's no one-man show. And that is what's happening this upcoming weekend here on August 16th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're having our first annual Peace Walk Run at Tyndall Center. And that's at 10301 West 7 Mile, which is right at just about at the corner of Wyoming and 7 Mile. So I know you're going to have some additional questions for me, Brother Brown, but I wanted to get that out and let you know what PEACE stands for is protecting every adolescent with conflict resolution through education and mentoring. So that's what our acronym for PEACE is. And we specifically look at gun violence, but we do address all violence that's going on in the city.
And it speaks to, one of the things it speaks to, Brother Campbell, and I refer to him Brother Campbell because he's a frat brother of mine, and, we just in the habit of, saying, Brother Brown, Brother Campbell. So, yeah, I will, refer to him as Brother Campbell. I've been knowing him close to about, 40 years now. And one of the things that things happen for a reason that's interesting is because I just happened to be at an event, about 2 weeks ago. And that's how I found out about this event that the foundation will be having in a couple, actually this weekend. And, that just goes to show that I was meant to be in that space to learn about this event. I've been doing a good job of advertising it. And even some of our youth from the Michigan Urban Youth Alliance will be there. And I think, and I got to talk to Dr. Johnson, I think that they plan on having a table there. And I found that out tomorrow because I will be seeing them. And even learning about the Michigan Black Caucus Foundation, I've just been amazed. And I happened to see Dr. Johnson again after the event when I learned about this event, when I was at the prayer event based on the recent spiking crime in Detroit. So that was, again, things happen for a reason. And then I saw her again after that. So I've seen her twice since I first found out about this event. I saw her again last Wednesday at the Walk a Mile with the Chief.
Yes,
on the west side of Detroit. Yeah, she was there with one of your other employees, and he is on camera. I did a Facebook Live during the event. I interviewed her, and I interviewed the you guys.
So that would have been our CVI coordinator,
right?
Swoop.
Yeah, Swoops. Yeah.
Yes, and then I see Crystal Kidd Hemmings has joined us as well.
I'm not sure she needs to go to video because I put her in the stage, but for some reason she's coming in black.
Okay.
Can you hear us, Crystal?
Yes, I can hear you. Let me go back out and then I'll come back in.
All right. Mm-hmm. So what was the vision about this event Saturday, Daryl? Someone came up with a vision and it came to fruition. It'll be taking place this Saturday. How did it all come about?
So before we move forward, we're going to just take a quick look in the past. So this is the 40th anniversary year of the Black Caucus Foundation of Michigan.
Oh, wow.
And it was started by the Honorable Elma G. Stallworth. And that was her vision that 40 years ago, public policy, crime, programs and advocating for citizens of Detroit, that was her vision. And she has since passed. And her son and daughter-in-law continue her vision today. So we're still continuing to do the work in the community. We have multiple programs. We have our Navigation to Success program, which we're in several grade school and high schools throughout DPSCD. The Peace program is a new venture through our CVI program, which is this year. And so as we look at different programs, we know that there is an issue with violence in our city, right? And with you in the suburbs, it's our city. It's our city. It affects us.
Right.
So the bottom line is, we have a lot of gun violence here. I believe we've had over 30 shootings just this year alone. There was stabbings this past weekend, and a son and mother lost their lives. So we know that violence is prevalent in our city, and this Peace Walk Run is to do something about it. And also to have some fun, provide some resources that our citizens need. And that's going to be in the form of book bags. We're going to have some health services there. We're going to have some financial literacy folks there. We're just going to have a good time. We're going to have some an obstacle course there. Through like a bounce house obstacle course. And there's a lot of things that's going to be going on. There's going to be food trucks. Everyone come out, have a good time. But the one thing we're also doing is we are walking for peace. So we'll be walking around the back area of Tyndall. If you're familiar, there's a huge field. We're going to walk around there, and students who are walking, they have to participate in the walk to receive book bags. They have to participate in order to not just show up and leave. That's so we have a lot of partners that we partner with.
And it's so ironic, Daryl, because a couple of weeks ago, 2 Fridays ago, no, actually last Friday, I had that Sunday or that Monday, I had learned about the literacy program over at Tyndall. And I ended up taking them about 100 books. The book bags had all kinds of stuff in it, rulers, just a lot of things. And so I'm very familiar with this location. It is right at Wyoming and 7 Mile. And someone, G Money Hollywood, who's a regular viewer, he has a Daryl Campbell from MSU. And to that, I don't know if you can see the comment.
I can see that. I was going to address that next time. That's one and the same.
Yeah, so yes, he is a MSU alum and graduate. High school Benedictine, all right?
Oh my God.
We don't want to. We don't even want him to say Benedictine.
No, I'm saying you Benedictine, didn't you?
Oh no. I'm the St. Martin de Porres. I'm the champion of champions.
Yo, you de Porres. Okay, my bad.
Four state champions.
Yeah, that's right. You de Porres. My bad. I ain't want to defame your school. Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Doc?
That previous Cass Tech Renaissance stuff y'all were talking about, but we won't. We'll let that go.
Right. So I also want to welcome to the stage Dr. Johnson and also Ashley River. Thank you. She says peace. And then G Money again said he know you. Daryl, we live in the Snyder Hall together.
Okay.
And then we also have Crystal. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So can you introduce yourself and tell us about your role over at the Black Caucus Foundation?
Well, hi, I'm Crystal Kidd Hemmings. I am a CBI life coach. I help the youth with life skills, similar to what Mr. Campbell does with the Black Caucus. I'm a part of the Drug Free Youth in Detroit Coalition, also, where we empower the youth with leadership and we empower them to be substance free also.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and additionally, during our Navigation to Success program, I'm also a health and wellness facilitator as well, where we teach students about life skills. Like, for example, we teach them how to cope with anxiety, cope with anger, make good decisions, help them have a positive self-image during the Navigation to Success program.
Okay.
The DPS.
Chris, I'm so happy that you went on and spoke up and not been so humble. You know you got a lot going on. You've been doing your thing now. So
outside of Black Caucus, well, there's a lot happening. I'm also a precinct delegate in Oakland County. So I'm working on to get out the vote. So I have an event coming up on the 23rd of August to push the vote for the open offices in Oakland County. What else do I do? I'm a disability advocate. I really am about advocacy. I also have an online support group for people who have autoimmune conditions. I teach them about self-advocacy. I give them resources, and I teach them resiliency so that they can have an optimal lifestyle. I think that's pretty much everything.
Okay, and also there was a previous comment in the last, and per org, I will address that probably next Monday. I'm trying to get the captain of the DPD or the he's on next Monday, so save that question for next week. And on purpose, I want to address, and maybe one of you all can answer this. I'm not exactly sure of the graduation rate, so I don't want to misspeak, but do any of you know what the graduation rate is in Detroit?
It's like 79%.
Okay. So on purpose, 79% is, I think it is 79%, Dr. Johnson. And with that being said, can you introduce yourself? Because we only met 2 weeks ago, but we've seen each other quite a bit since then.
We have. Hi, I'm Dr. Shanice Johnson. I am the director of school-based and community programs for the Black Caucus Foundation of Michigan, who actually celebrates 40 years this year. It started in 1985 by the Honorable Elmer G. Stallworth. And we have several initiatives, as you heard. We have our Navigation to Success program, which is in partnership with Detroit Public School Community District, which is why I know a lot about them. And also, with that other program we have is our Community Violence Intervention program, which is our Peace Mentorship program. And then we have our community program, which is our Drug Free Youth in Detroit Coalition. And then we also have our SINAR, where we make sure that the policy of selling alcohol, tobacco, and things like that are adhered to. So you have to be born on or before, on or after before 2004. And that's our SINAR initiative. So I'm here today because Mr. Brown, you've given us the opportunity to have a platform to talk about our upcoming event. So not only are we concerned with our graduation rate for our Detroit public schools and in the city of Detroit, we're also concerned with the lives that have been taken by gun violence. And so since June, since the students have been dismissed and entering into the new 2025-2026 school year, we know that it's upwards of 30 or more students that young adults that lives have been taken. And so we're very concerned at the Black Caucus Foundation of Michigan. And so when you say we met 2 weeks ago, I've seen you on several initiatives. We did the walk with Detroit Police Chief Betson. We just did that in the Brightmoor area. We've seen each other at different initiatives. You were at our one-day conflict resolution community camp. So again, we enjoy these partnerships and we welcome more partnerships where people can come on board for the cause, and which is making sure that our students live a drug-free and violence-free lifestyle.
And how many schools are you currently in with regard to your CVIs?
We're currently in 4 schools, but our Navigation to Success, we're in 6 schools. We've been upward in the last 20 years with our partnership. We've serviced over 10,000 students, where we've not only had our substance prevention program, but our intervention, community violence intervention program, and then exposing them to skills trades. So we've had our Construction Science Expo, which is going into our 15th year, actually May 19th. It'll be our 15th year where we partner with the Michigan Coalition. So we're very excited to be in the schools in this partnership for college and career readiness. But again, our students are at risk and we know it, and we want to wrap our arms around them and do our 2-generational strategies that we have, not only for the students, but for the families and then the community.
And I'm not sure if everyone can see this comment. G Money Hollywood, who's a regular viewer on the Black and White channel, he states that 79% is fairly good for a city of our size. However, how many are being given diplomas compared to earning diplomas? There's a high illiteracy rate of them that are graduating, which is sad. And I've been involved with literacy for 8 years now. I got involved based on reading about a 12th grader was reading at the first grade level. And I was like, wow, and that was at Detroit Central. How was that possible? And then doing some recent research, it has been found that a lot of the students because they talk about the increased graduation rate, but they're graduating without having the skills and tools to move ahead in life. And that speaks to part of what G Money is asking. How do we combat that? How do we get people graduating on grade level?
Well, see, that's one of the things we also talk about. So I can talk about both. I'm a certified teacher as well as a school administrator. I've been that for over 20 years. I'm also a turnaround specialist for schools that are taking them from good to great. And then now again, I'm at the Black Caucus as a certified prevention specialist. So I know research indicates that students who misuse substances are more likely to receive failing grades in school. And that's why we have our Navigation to Success program inside of the schools. We know that those adverse childhood experiences that the students are having prevent them from, or the disparities that they face, transportation problems, medical concerns as far as medical insurance, food, just clean clothes. These are some of the things that have our kids not coming to school, that have attendance and truancy problems. We have, again, adverse childhood experiences that cause people to be initiate fights or initiate violence, and especially gun violence. That's what our focus is, gun violence. So we know, but research shows that these disparities and these things that are in this community or in this environment in which our children are facing, that is part of one of the reasons why there is a significantly amount of kids failing. So we have to, how we want to reduce this and stop using drugs and stop having these violent mindsets and making bad decisions. And that way we'll improve academic outcomes that can mirror the students that they are.
And there's another question, Crystal or Daryl, you can take this question on purpose. He asked, and do any of these groups take a stand against the entertainment culture that aggressively promote the opposite of what you are saying? And then he go on to say that he asked this because entertainment is an influence on social media and it is very powerful.
So as a life coach, when I meet with students, we talk about those types of things. We talk about image. We talk about what's being represented, what advertising is affecting them. So in terms of when we say take a stand, we're promoting a nonviolence lifestyle. So that's taking that stand against whatever industry is promoting opposite. So if you want to expound on it, are we boycott? If your question is, are we boycotting entertainers when they come to the city of Detroit? That answer would be no, because we're a school-based focused program. So we meet the students where they are. We coach them up. We promote living a drug-free, alcohol-free, and violence-free lifestyle. So I believe that's your question on purpose. But if that's not,
I can jump in there. When we talk about it, Chris, I'm gonna jump in real quick. When we talk about propaganda can significantly increase students in education. Again, I come from a background of education. I was actually a history teacher, and we talk about propaganda. And by shaping their beliefs and their critical thinking, here are some of the key points that, again, we utilize in some of our evidence-based strategies that we go into our school-based programming, is understanding propaganda and how we help students analyze it and critique the information, which is essential for fostering critical thinking. And then the misinformation. We educate them and teach students to recognize and reflect on the media's consumption, helping them understand the impact of misinformation. So again, we understand that some things are done for entertainment. Some people have images that they want to put out there so they can sell more records. So there goes some economics and all those things we could talk about education, and then provide a broader perspective on how propaganda affects students and their society. And so that's what we do in our school-based programs.
Okay. Did you want to chime in, Crystal?
Yes. Dr. Johnson mentioned ACEs. What I found over the past 4 years is that parental influence has impacted our students more than social media has influenced them. So if we have parental involvement in our students' lives, then we can see them prosper academically. But a lot of our students are faced with going home to absent parents, and that's affecting them, and that's contributing to the disparities that our students face. But as Dr. Johnson said, we talk to our students about product placement and advertising and media. We talk about the news, movies, TV. We expound on the different ways that our students are being communicated with and make sure that they understand how media is impacting them so that they can make better decisions.
And not only that, we talk to our council members, we educate our council members, city council members, on how the media affects our students. And we're talking about the bulletin boards that they see every day on their way to school, be it a bus, car, Uber, walking. they see here's where you can buy a vape. Here's where you can go and buy a dispensary. And so we congratulate our city council members on Callaway and Benson on standing with the Detroit Public School when Dr. Vitti came in and educated them on the results of how the students are not more driven by these signs to do drugs than it is by the social media. And so now they put in place as of November where that signage has to be over 500 feet away from where kids play and where kids go to school. And now, yes, that it's now have to be away from faith-based organizations as well. So again, when we talk about what's in the media, we're not just talking about what they hear, we're also talking about what they see.
And I'm glad this conversation is taking place. There's quite a lot of questions. There's one up right now. And based on my experience, I would disagree a little bit with you, G Money Hollywood. And again, I know my god sister's a teacher. I know quite a few teachers. It is not that the average administrator fears for their lives. I'm being real. Based on my conversations, some of these kids are being pushed through because they are told to push them through. And that's one of the unfortunate things that we have to work on, because we're not doing kids any favors by putting them into society when they're not ready to be in society. I think it's very necessary for them to earn their grades, and they need to be on the grade level of the 12th grade when they're leaving the 12th grade. We still have far too many kids, young adults, that are not graduating at grade level. And that's not just in Detroit, that's all over the country. So I don't want to put a dispersion on Detroit, but just based on my research, it's all over the country. North, south, east, west, Alaska, Hawaii, doesn't matter.
And I know as the Black Caucus, we can't speak for educational, school districts or anything like that. So I'm not on the behalf of the Black Caucus. I'm not going to say that or get into that conversation right there. But I will say that we know that college is not for everyone. And that's why it's not for everyone. And that's why we introduce them to college and career readiness, and career could be in skills trade. That we teach them the life skills that they need to make the decision. Do I want to go to college? Do I want to go into skills trade? Do I want to go into masonry? Do I want to go into construction? Do I want to do these things? And we expose them through that, through our annual, like I said, our 15th year coming up in May, to our annual Construction Science Expo. So I'm not saying, college, you must have to go, you have to go to college, because I'm an educator. I'm college bound. My children went to college. One of them is into skills trade. College was not his passion. And so what we do in schools is we find out what their passion is. And again, I commend the Detroit Public School Community District on recognizing that and making sure that we have those programs in place as well, like our VOTEX and things like that. So I'm not going to jump on that question real quick, but I can say based on our experience and our partnership with the Detroit Public School Community District, there are things in place where that students in all areas, in all genres, in all genders, and the diversity of the school district, that they can be successful.
And I will, because we only have a couple more minutes, because I want you all to give your final comments on the event on Saturday. And I'm definitely going to have you all back on, because this is interesting. I'm learning a lot about your organization. And even since meeting you all, well, I already knew Daryl. Even since meeting you, Dr. Johnson, I have, I do my research. So I've done my research. I'm very impressed with what you all do. And the last minute and a half, I'll go around and I'll start with you, Dr. Johnson. What is your expectation and goal for this coming Saturday?
This coming Saturday is, again, to bring awareness. We've had over 30 students that their lives have been taken by gun violence. We want to bring awareness to that. We want to come together as a community. We want to say, hey, enough is enough. Let's stand in unity. Let's stand in peace. Let's go into this school year with the understanding of what we can do outside of handling conflict negatively, especially using a gun to handle our conflicts. Let our kids live. Let our kids live in peace. And so with our peace walk at Tyndall Activity Center. We're asking for volunteers to come out and help us with the activities. We're asking for those who want to come and advocate for students. If you have lost a loved one or you know someone that's been a victim of gun violence, we're asking you to come out. We're asking those who want to be a mentor to students who have been victims of gun violence or perpetrators of gun violence. Come sign up to be a mentor. And our Drug Free Youth in Detroit Coalition will be there also giving away book bags, and we'll be giving away gun locks, gun boxes. So it's all about safety first. And that's what makes a student successful, is if they feel safe in and out of the school building.
And I know you're in 4 schools, Daryl. What or how for students that do not attend those 4 schools, how can they get involved with your organization?
So we do have our advocacy program through our Drug Free Youth in Detroit, which we have peer-to-peer counseling per se, or peer-to-peer connection, not necessarily counseling, through our Drug Free Youth in Detroit program. That's our biggest student connection. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Dr. Johnson.
It's our ambassador club. They can be members of our ambassador club, as well as our Drug Free Youth in Detroit Coalition. And so our advisory board, we are made up of 12 sectors, one of them being the youth. Okay. And so the youth can come on board. There are insights to what needs to be done. There are insights to what is the need. And then we base and implement strategies and plans around their voices.
And Crystal, give the viewers and listeners the address to the event on Saturday, the location, the name of the facility, and the time of the event.
Okay, the event is going to be at the Tyndall Center. I need to get the address for you. It's off of 7 Mile in Wyoming, in back of the Social Security office. Do you have the flyer?
I can give that address for you.
Please.
It's 10301 West 7 Mile Road, Detroit, Michigan, 48221. And it's the Back to School Peace Family Walk Run. And that is going to be this upcoming Saturday, August 16th. Start time 10 a.m., end time 3 p.m.
And what does PEACE stands for?
All right. So our PEACE is, once again, protecting every adolescent through conflict resolution,
education,
and mentoring. That is our PEACE program acronym.
So I want to thank you all again for joining me this evening. It's been very insightful. A lot of comments and questions from the viewers, and I want to thank G Money Hollywood, On Purpose, Karen Winston, Ashley River, Vanessa Moss, Attorney Moss, On Purpose, Power Orgs, Karen Winston, Miss Sheila, Mr. 1213. Again, all regular viewers, I want to thank you. And I'm not seeing who all on Facebook. I do know Mr. Hinkle, he joined us from Facebook. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for this opportunity to come and talk about the event on Saturday. And I would definitely have to have you all back, because you have a lot going on. And your organization is one that the citizens of Detroit need to know about, particularly the parents, because you are a conduit to help their children. So I want to thank you all for joining me this evening, and I will see you on Saturday.
All right. Hey, Brother Brown, can I give just a real quick shout out? Our website is www.michiganblackcaucus.org. If you want to learn more information about the Michigan Black Caucus Foundation of Michigan, feel free to go to our website.
Or give us a call, 313-285-9234, 313-285-9234.
And you better make sure you have that Diet Coke or Coke Zero from G Money Hollywood at homecoming, DC.
There we go.
He gonna be looking for you. Yo. All right, thank you all, and I'll see you Saturday.
That's for Brother Brown right there. Boom. We're heading.
Thank you, Brother Brown.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
So again, I want to thank the Michigan Black Caucus Foundation for joining me this evening, and Jalen Bradley for joining me as well to talk about the Peacenik on August 30th. And I'll have Jalen on again the closer to the event, because that's a very important event. Have to all do this together. Again, it's about the village, and I went a little bit over my time today, but it was a very worthy conversation, a lot of comments. I appreciate the listeners for tuning in this evening. So until next Monday, enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe, stay cool, peace and love. And until next time, love you and see you soon. Bye.